versus Minato. If Minato wins this game 2 as well, then of course he'll tie up the series 1-1 between Navi and Fnatic. If Nightend wins, he'll bring it to a game 3 between these two players. Of course, they are competing for a spot in the grand finals of the Euro Series, ESL Euro Series 2013. Of course, with this $5,000 in prize pool up for grabs. A lot of money here. Very important match for these players. Minato in the quarterfinals took out the Korean player Stardust, also a DreamHack champion. So he's definitely looking very good. In last game, he looked fully in control and dealing with Nightend. I really liked how he integrated some Baning play, but not as like an all-in. A lot of people, if they make Banings, they're like, let's just run them all in their army and try to blow them up. Integrating a few Banings early on against the Zell attack instead of using Roaches seemed pretty cool. A little bit more cost efficient because you don't like, if you build the Roach run, you have to build the Roaches. Build the Baning nest, because I mean, let's say they have a few Zealots, you have to start those Roaches to take a little while to build, you have to get them out there, or else you might lose the hatchery. If you build the Baning nest, you can then just build like 1 or 2 Banings, see how many Zealots are warping in, and morph more really quickly because, you know, they come out of speed means they build, rally fast, and it only takes a few seconds to turn them into Banings. So, pretty cool use of that. But anyways, we're here in game 2 at the top location of Polar Knight, the blue Protoss Nightend. The bottom location of Polar Knight, the yellow Zerg, Minato. Gonna be some cool stuff. Again, if you have any questions in Twitch chat, you can go ahead and shoot those over to me. I may be happy to look there and answer it. Hopefully I will be. I do like to be available for you guys. But going forward, we see a gateway expand from Nightend, similar to last game. And one thing Nightend did, oh actually wait, he's getting 2 gases here. This is a little bit well, my memory's failing me. I mean, Hearthstone went with the 1 gas before Nexus in his games, if I remember right. I'm trying to remember if Nightend did last game as well. I remember Nightend got a Zealot before the Nexus, which is a little bit unusual. It's not unheard of at all. I mean, it's absolutely people would do it. I mean, Nightend proved it last game, but typically the Nexus before combat units is the more popular way. Looks like that's what he's going for this game. You can go straight for the Nexus at 22 supply. Asp being thrown down there. I noticed there's only 2 probes on each geyser. Of course, that's because he wants to get a decent amount of mineral income as well. And he will probably add a 3rd probe on each geyser in about 30 seconds to a minute. Or just right now, there he did it. Fairly soon. We know from the Zerg player, we still have that gas being mined just enough to get Zerging speed and taking the turns off gas. So he wants to get that Zerging speed out because he knows that with the gateway expand warp gate, it's a high probability, or I mean the warp gate tech comes out much faster, I guess. That's what I mean. Meanwhile, down here we do have the Zerg natural progressing. Speed's on the way, more drones, and the question is he going to go for a lot of gas and more mining? Basically, is he going to tech off of 2 bases a little more aggressively like we saw last game? And take a later 3rd base, or is he going to take a 3rd base very soon and then once the 3rd base is started, then resume some gas production? There it goes. There's a 3rd base coming on right now. No gas resumption quite yet. And up here, we do have the wall coming in for Nightend. And that's this is a more defensive play, right? A lot of people will get the Stargate and 2 gateways, and then they can threaten to do Zealot pressure after Phoenix Harass or even in conjunction with it. But in this case, Nightend is actually getting no additional gateways, just the Forge. And so the Forge, we'll see what he puts that to use. He's not getting upgrades quite yet. He's still only on 2 gas. That's something to note. And of course, it's not like you need cannons if you do a gateway expand, at least early on. At some point, you might want to add them, but depending on what you scout for Zerg. Here we go. First overlord is spotted. One thing to note is both the watchtowers are taken by Minato. He's got another overlord hiding in the corner here that might poke in to do another round of scouting later. Along with this overlord keeping an eye on the gases. And Minato's got to be a little bit, he's got a little worried. It's weird because he's seen the forge, I believe, right? Yeah, he's seen the forge. And you see the lack of gases, which is kind of going to confuse him a bit. And so he might be looking for this fast surge because the lack of the gases often means a bunch of gateways in conjunction with the Stargate. But then why would he get a forge if he was doing that? So that's going to say, okay, he's saving minerals by not getting these third and fourth gases very early. But he's not doing some crazy pressure, because why would he waste 150 minerals on a forge if he was going to do a lot of gateway pressure? So that might leave him the assumption, okay, he's probably going for that faster base. And this is a cool build by Nightend. I like to build the fast target to really kind of get some presence on the map, but it was still like a 730 third base. It's still a very quick third base. And with the forge there, you can do exactly what he did. You can kind of block in a cannon, and you're totally safe from at least moderate amounts of Zerglings. Minato was totally prepared. Of course, the Phoenixes revealed themselves early and going overlord hunting, so unlikely to do terrible damage here. But I mean, even just getting a couple drone kills is never bad. We do see the Hydrodus coming into play from Minato. Meanwhile, he is on four gases right now. So, does he know about the third? Okay, he spotted a third base by now. And his next question is, whenever you use a Zerg spot Protoss third base, you say, should I go for pressure on it, or should I macro up more? And the lack of a fourth base, the lack of a fifth and sixth gas, the fact that he's only been producing units for the last 30 seconds, means that he's definitely looking to attack on a third base at Nightend. He's gonna wait for the +1 range attack, or maybe, he might start pressuring early, but the idea is the real battle kicks in once he gets that that +1 range attack and the Hydra range. And I think this is actually really good for Minato. I don't think Nightend suspects it. It's as committed as it is. I think he thinks it's going to be some light Hydra pressure with maybe a Muta follow-up or maybe a fourth base or something, because investing in, he's getting charged and he's trying to go all the way up the Storm, when really he might need a few more gateways. Right now his warp gate count is only at 5. It's only going to be at 5 warp gates. And that's going to be hard against the amount of Hydras drawing in. In fact, he's already had to use a couple force fields. Already lost a sentry. His cannon at the front is going down. At least there's no burrow. That could be a nightmare. The forge could go down next. Actually, not even backing from the overcharge. Just charging in here. There's not very many zealots. This could be disastrous for Nightend. Minato taking full control of this game. Pouring in here. Phoenix is doing what they can. But they're going to be taken out. Not enough to deal with the Hydra. There's a Zealot warp in. The Zealots are halfway dead by the time they even warp in. The Zerglings tore them to pieces. Now, the Nexus is getting some good kills here. But it's not quite a planetary fortress. You can see it can only take down 1 unit at a time, and it is overwhelmed and taken out. The units don't stop coming from Minato. Continual reinforcements. The best feeling you can have attacking your opponent is getting supply blocks, because that means you haven't been losing enough units, and you have to go ahead and get some more supply. It's not something you anticipate. You figure you can keep losing units and just you won't have to get them more supply. But Minato's so dominant here. A great counter build to Nightend. Nightend maybe tried to attack a little bit too fast after that third base. Didn't quite get enough gateways. And a very convincing win. And a really well executed timing build there. It's kind of like I talked about earlier. You know, Protoss timings are often built around that zone when sentries are really powerful. Zerg timings are built around that zone. Right when you get a production building, you can get a ton of units really fast. It's exactly what we did with Hydrodus then. Put down the Hydrodus then when the Hydrodus then finished, just built exclusively Hydrodus for the most part. Supplement, he built probably as many speedings as Hydrodus, but of course, the vast majority of resources on those Hydrodus try to take advantage of an opponent who hadn't quite set up all his production, right? He was on 3 bases, but only 5 warp gates. Or maybe, I think it was 5, maybe it was 4. And that's not enough warp gates. You wouldn't be on that early. You probably wouldn't be on still at least 8. If you know they're going for that attack. Nightend, of course, didn't see that coming, or he wouldn't have gotten the Templar Archives. He probably wouldn't even start charge until he started a lot of gateways and then got charged double later. But either way, Minato putting Na'vi on the board there, tying it up 1-1. The third set coming up next is going to be, I'm going to find it here. The third set is going to be Mini Razor from Fnatic against Happy Zerg from Na'vi. So that'll be coming up in just a bit. But what I want to do is I want to, of course, ESL is being sponsored by Raid Call. So we're going to do a quick 30-second Raid Call promo just because they're help supporting this event and just give them a little bit of a shout out.
Professional grade communication tool. The choice of professional teams. Perfect stream viewing experience. Chosen by online streamers. Easy to use voice messenger service. Chosen by over 12 million gamers.
Communication is always vital when competing in tournaments. Winning a match requires perfect coordination. You cannot win by yourself.
Raid Call. Communication for winners.